He actually fell asleep with a donut on his lap. That's the closest he's ever been to one without scarfing it down.
Oh,
Wow.
who was that?
I have no idea. Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Absolutely, and this is not the subject matter at hand here, not the person anyway, a doll.
No.
But what is this backside method air?
Are you not a snowboarder? Because
No,
I know
I'm not.
that your resume is chock full of interesting little tidbits.
A snowboarder, I'm not.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, snowboarders can do this hot dogging stunt where, you know, you go up in the air and do sort of an arabesque and, like, grab the back of your board. You must know this. You're from the Northwest.
I'm from the Northwest, and that is exactly what Lindsay...
Your board and go home, Lindsay. Thanks.
Oh, goodness.
That was,
Lindsay.
that
I
was
got a
great.
feel for her,
Thank
though.
you.
I mean, goodness sakes.
No, I know it's horrible.
Especially when you do it to yourself. That's the worst part.
She learned
You
a lesson.
do it
You're
to
this-
yourself. It's not even like...
Right. Bob
you know.
Sellers would never do anything like this. Bob was a
would
former
never.
athlete.
No. You know, Julian, as you know, if you're going to hot dog, you got to wait till after you score the touchdown.
Good
Absolutely.
point, Bob.
Right. So in other words, once she crossed the finish line, then she could do some hot dogging. Is that right?
Right. I mean,
right.
Billy White shoes, that's what he did. And remember Leon Lett, the guy in the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah?
What did he do?
Well, okay, he is a defensive tackle or whatever he was. He takes his fumble. He's running in for a touchdown. And he starts hot dogging it, holding the ball out. And this guy catches him from behind, knocks it out of his hand. And that was his inexperience. You hot dog after you score.
One of the more infamous
Word
moments in
Exactly.
sports.
Thank you, Bob.
How you doing, man?
Okay, good to see you all. Let's take a look at the latest headlines. Hamas rejects the call from Palestinian leader Mahmoud.
Okay, so coming up, we're going to be talking about kissing and whether it should be banned at some places, and sex and whether it should be promoted at some other schools. You'll want to stick
It's all
around
about
for that.
sex, isn't it?
Then we have a whole sex talking block. You may want to stick around for that, and Bob Sellers may also want to pay attention.
Yeah, there's no news. So back to the sex and kissing.
No, there is headlines.
Bob, maybe you can learn something.
I'm sure I could.
Oh, come on, Dr. Bob.
Hey, wait, I just have to say, in the spirit of full disclosure, did you know that Bob Sellers, this is true, is married to, well, his wife's not only gorgeous, but she happens to be a sex education teacher. I'm
That's
not
true.
kidding. It is true.
Of high
Bob,
schools.
I didn't know that.
Of high,
yeah.
of high school.
So
In
Bob
high
knows
school.
everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
It's safe
yeah.
to say.
She's told me many things that she's learned.
He was
so,
one of her star pupils.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave that one alone. I think you've got some news to give us.
All right, guys. We'll take a look at some of that news.
Thanks,
All right,
Kristen.
Chris, thanks a lot.
Kristen.
Okay, so we were talking earlier about how Don Rumsfeld says that the U.S. needs to get better at launching the war to win over the hearts and minds of the Muslims and how it can do so. Kelly Wright is live in Washington with more on Rumsfeld's appearance at the Council on Foreign Relations. Hey, Kelly.
That's right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're doing well. Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld, speaking to the Council on Foreign Relations on Friday, says al-Qaeda may be on the run, but they are winning the information war. What does he mean by that? Well, with a number of Muslims throughout Iraq and the world protesting against the United States and other Western targets, Defense Secretary Rumsfeld is concerned the United States is not doing enough to win the hearts and minds of Muslims throughout the world. He says al-Qaeda is not just waging its war through terror attacks, but also using emails, Blackberries, instant messages, digital cameras to record their deeds, and weblogs or blogs.
For the most part, the U.S. government still functions as a five and dime store in an eBay world.
Rumsfeld adds al-Qaeda has skillfully adapted to fighting wars in today's media age, but the United States has not. He is urging U.S. military public affairs officers to respond to events faster. Meantime, President Bush is doing his part to inform the world just how lethal an enemy al-Qaeda can be. Speaking at the port of Tampa on Friday, the commander-in-chief again stressed why al-Qaeda must be brought to justice in the war on terror.
These people are cold-blooded killers. People who kill the innocent in order to achieve a tactical objective and a strategic objective. They have no conscience. You can't negotiate with these people. You cannot reason with them. You must bring them to justice.
President Bush says the United States is winning and will continue to win the war on terror. Secretary Rumsfeld wants to be sure the rest of the world knows it through a better PR or propaganda effort from the Pentagon. That's the latest from Washington. Back now to Alisyn, Paige, and Julian.
Thanks, Kelly.
Kelly Wright, thank you so much, sir.
Okay, so bad news, Julian. I know you thought you were close to retirement age, But
really?
that may be...
Well, what makes you think I'm so close to retirement?
Because I remember celebrating your birthday recently, and I remember how old you are. But the retirement age, according to a scientist at Stanford University, should be raised over the next 20 years.
That's right. It should be raised to 85. Yes, folks, 85 years old. But you know what? I don't find this surprising because everyone's healthier. I mean, my parents, I can't even imagine my dad retiring. You know, my dad's looking at 70, and he's not even thinking about retiring. He works for like a six-day week.
You know, you have people that are working, you know, at older and older age. I mean, look at even folks in the media, some of our colleagues, like Mike Wallace, who's just 87 years old. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he is 110.
And people are living longer. And according to the Stanford University intellectuals saying anti-aging devices now are keeping people, like, they're living, I think, 1 year longer per year. So by the year 2025, he's saying that the retirement age should be 85 as opposed to, I mean, that's like 20 years more than it is.
Yeah, because he's saying life expectancy will increase by 20 years over the next 20 years. So life expectancy now is what, 78? I think that's what it is. So that means that it would be 98 in 20 years. But, you know, on the flip side, I've heard that there are also some diseases like diabetes and stuff that could reduce our life expectancy if they keep going at this clip. So I'm not
in other words, a check and balance here?
But I just want to point something out. Look at when we were growing up, it was sort of like 65 people retired. Well, guess who's in their 60s now? Mick Jagger. And he doesn't look like he's retiring. He looks pretty good. So that gives you an idea of how things have changed. So imagine what he's going to look like at 80.
That Super Bowl performance
more wrinkled.
Leaves a lot to be desired.
I don't know.
I'm serious.
I think he looks pretty good.
He's this thin.
Yeah, but very muscular. And one of our co-anchors had the opportunity to meet him at the Super Bowl.
What?
She will go unnamed.
Okay.
And
Stop it.
yeah. She met him after his performance at the Super Bowl, and she told me, she said, Paige, because I said, oh, wasn't he really old and kind of like, you know, the skin's hanging? She said, no. He is totally built, and she said he has the most beautiful head of hair.
Wow.
All his, apparently.
Did she run her fingers through it?
No, but she wanted to. And that's all. I'm not going to reveal who it is. I'm not going to.
You're going to take us that far? You're going to leave us hanging?
I'm going to leave you hanging. But she said he was amazing.
A dangling participle. Look, and here's the deal, though. It obviously, for economic reasons, would make sense to increase the retirement age if people live 20 years longer, because it will really put a strain on our social service system, and we're having problems with Social Security as it is now. But on the other hand, let me ask you two ladies a question.
Yes.
If you had the means and you lived 20 years longer, I'm talking about the economic means, would you retire at a later age, or would you retire, say, at 60, 65? What would you do?
If I were healthy.
If you were healthy.
Okay, so if I were healthy and in good form still, I would retire as early as possible.
If I enjoy what I'm doing, I will work as long as possible.
Stick a fork in it at 65.
Look at Barbara Walters. How old is Barbara Walters?
I'm telling you.
How old is Barbara Walters?
I have no idea.
98.
I think 102.
102.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
And she looks fabulous.
You folks are cruel.
No, we're just kidding. Actually, you know, she's what? I don't know what she is. Larry King revealed it once. What is she, 75?
I don't know, but more power to her.
Hey, she's awesome. She's kind of the gold standard. And look at Diane Sawyer at 60.
She's 60 years old?
She is 60 years old.
She looks pretty good.
She is gorgeous.
Yeah. No prune Danish there.
No.
It's all about food. For
no prune Danish there.
Okay, so moving on, maybe you guys are aware that there has been a move afoot to ban kissing in public schools and in high schools, and it's gone so far as to want to ban kissing even in school plays where it's called for in the script.
Like Romeo and Juliet. You can't kiss anymore. I mean, that was like the only opportunity I had to get kissed in high school.
I don't believe that.
No, I'm totally serious. Was it, you know when you did Sweet 16,
only
never
time
been
you had
kissed?
a chance of getting kissed
I was
in high
not
school
kissed at 16. You can ask my best friend.
That's Seattle's problem.
Come on, I don't
That is,
believe it.
yeah, Seattle. Ha.
Yeah.
I don't, you know,
There you have it. You had your whack
Paige,
and you passed.
Paige, I don't believe you.
No, I swear to God. Honest to God.
Really?
Yeah, it was totally, yeah. I mean, you know, people had boyfriends, they'd get a little pet, you know, nothing. I turned 16 and I was like, Sweet 16, never been kissed, totally true.
Oh my God, so you signed up for the school play.
Signed up for the school play.
So you could get kissed? And
we weren't doing Romeo and Juliet, but we were doing a Shakespeare. What's the one with the two, Such a Scholar?
Midsummer Night's Dream?
No. Anyway, was it Gentlemen for Verona? No, I don't know.
No. It couldn't have been Two Gentlemen for Verona.
No. It's the one where they're the two.
Not for you.
What's the one where the girl plays a boy? But she's a girl. Thank you, 12th Night. My producer just told me.
That's Ron.
Anyway, very good,
Ron.
Ron.
Things.
Yeah.
Well, he's the man.
I did not. I only got kissed in the school play.
Really?
Oh, so this ban would be very upsetting for you.
Yes.
I don't know. I got to tell you. I think
Practice
it's
a lot on my pillow.
Hey, look, at the same time, someone makes a good point, too. I mean, whether you agree with it or not, on one hand, you want to ban kissing in school plays. On the other hand, you're promoting safe sex, handing out condoms and promoting abortions and stuff like that. I mean, come on, isn't this kind of schizophrenic?
Right,
Well-
no kissing, just sex.
Well, one
Yeah.
school that is promoting sex, which I thought this was actually a little surprising, is Yale University. The esteemed Yale University is having Sex Week. Yes, folks? Sex Week. To teach those kids a thing or two.
Oh, absolutely. It's a biennial celebration, offers advice on dating, sex therapy, a discussion of homosexuality from a former Roman Catholic priest.
Right, they're also having demonstrations of sex toys during Sex Week. And, what's so funny? My husband went to Yale. I thought he studied political science.
Did he have
That's
sex
what he
week?
always told me.
Oh, he
All
studied
right?
sex therapy.
I don't know. I mean, apparently at Yale, this is what you study. For your $25,000 a year tuition, you get to go to all these sex seminars.
Well, not
Good
bad.
to know, honey.
They have a panel of porn stars and stripping
we'll be
lessons from a
talking later.
Playboy Channel hostess.
Yeah.
I guess I went to the wrong school.
I clearly went to the wrong school.
I mean, an Ivy League school, you
I
get
clearly-
a lecture from a Playboy playmate on how to strip.
Well, let me ask you a question.
And pole dancing.
Can I ask you a
Now,
question,
that I'd be
Alisyn?
interested in.
I mean,
Has it worked for you?
Well, because my husband went to Yale?
he didn't have sex week when he was there, did he?
Maybe he did. I mean, I was wondering why he's so well-versed.
Just
Alisyn,
ahead,
Camerota.
one young Fox star is in the middle of a California real estate boom. Is he a young Donald Trump? Bill McCuddy finds out.
A bus full of kids, school kids, actually stalls on train tracks as a locomotive comes hurtling along. Take a look at this. We're going to show you what happened. Terrifying moments.
You're watching Fox and Friends.
Oh, yes, you are. Absolutely. That was Lisa Simpson, according to Ron.
Oh, good. Making
okay.
an audio cameo. That's very nice.
That's nice.
He just knows it all, doesn't he?
Yeah, from the Shakespearean references to The Simpsons, he's really got us covered, Ron Messer does. We have a lot coming up in the show, and I also wanted to say that the reason I'm wearing this skirt is because I was looking for something in my closet today that approximated a grass skirt, because we have a hula lesson coming
yes,
up.
we
This
do.
is the
Which I
closest thing
cannot
I
wait.
have to a grass skirt, but I think that it's really going to help my hula dancing.
Well, I thought we were putting on grass skirts because I have my bikini on underneath.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Did you have that yellow polka dot bikini?
That's what I thought we were doing.
Well, I'll tell you.
I think that'll work out very nicely, Paige.
Also, in case you have been living under a rock, we want to let everybody know that Kieran Chetri gave birth to her beautiful daughter, Maya Rose. Was it 2 weeks ago now at this point?
February 8th.
February
It's been
8th.
yeah.
And so that is why she's not here with us, but we hope she's tuning in. And hello, Kieran. We all miss you.
Absolutely. I haven't seen the kid up close yet.
I'm hoping to go visit her today.
Oh, you
I
are?
wanna go
The
visit Maya.
nerve of you.
Well, come on, baby. Give up golf.
I was not
Give up
invited
golf
over
for
there.
a day. She lives in my neighborhood, so it's not
I'll
as
tell you
hard
what,
for
see,
me.
after I do this hula thing with my Speedos on,
Oh.
Oh, we had
Breakfast
a chance
time.
at having viewers. We
Breakfast
had a
time.
chance with Paige's bikini to having viewers, and
well,
now...
I figured I'd be, the antithesis.
Men in
of that.
Speedo, I
sure
don't care
are.
who the
Yeah.
guy is. No man should wear a Speedo.
Well, only Europeans wear Speedos, I think.
And that's
don't they?
wrong as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
a Speedo on with like a cigarette and a cocktail.
That is very
Some
European.
hairy legs, a hairy back, 5 o'clock shadow. Hey, whatever. Anyway,
Wow, you're really inspiring people to lose their breakfasts.
I
Okay.
guess so. Maybe not, though. Perhaps not.
Well, you'll have to stay tuned to see what Julian will wear for the hula lesson.
Anyway, we have a lot of serious news to talk about here also.
We do.
We talked about this actually last week.
It's part of
Well,
living
I'll tell
and,
you
and
what.
being a happy, healthy human being, being one of God's
And
children.
he said that pastor
Right?
says that the Bible is liberal on matters of sex.
No,
He
the
says
Bible is not liberal on
open
matters
and
of sex.
frank
No,
about sexual
it is
matters.
open and frank about sexual matters on what to do and what not to do, but it's not liberal
Okay,
on
you're right.
matters of
So
sex.
open about sexual matters. So is that, I mean, should they have an open discourse at church about
not?
sex?
No, I think you probably should. You do, and we talk about this thing too. What to do, what not to do, who should be having sex, who shouldn't. I mean, but to
But
put
that's
a
the
billboard
moral.
up there.
This is talking about how to have a great sex life. I mean, this is giving you advice on how to juice up your sex life. It's not. They aren't talking about the morals.
Should a church be involved in that kind of activity?
Well, I don't know. I'm Catholic.
5,000 people say yes.
I don't know.
At this particular congregation.
I don't buy it.
It would get me.
I don't buy it. I just don't buy it.
That's not what you want to hear when you go to church on Sunday?
No, I don't want to hear that.
We're all God's
save it
children.
for us during the commercials.
God wants us to enjoy ourselves.
Coming up, times have been anything but easy.
Natalie Holloway's parents file a wrongful death lawsuit against Jorn Vandersloot and his father, Paulus. But is the suit just about money or something else?
Joining us to explain the legalities of the case is Fox News legal analyst Craig Mitnick. So, Craig, it seems to me that ever since O.J., these wrongful death suits are where victims' families find justice rather than the criminal justice system.
But you know, Alisyn, it's different. O.J. was tried in a criminal courtroom. He was a United States citizen, and then there was a civil suit against him. Interestingly,
I got to tell you, folks are really chiming in here on this whole sex thing. I'm getting beat up on some parts of the Christians,
and
of course.
lauded on others.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Christians, of course, my Christian brothers and sisters, I'm with you. This one guy says here, it says, no sex without marriage. Come, give me a break. Tell him to get his head out of his great-grandmother's Victorian apron strings. Even she can tell us a story.
I have another one on that note. Julian, please. You just said people should not have sex unless married. Please tell me what century you're living in.
Ooh, well, this one says, I'm with Julian. Church is not the place to promote sex.
Now, this guy here, Rick in Washington, says, you drink alcohol. No, I don't. You smoke cigars and,
Yes,
and you
you
get
do.
tattoos. I do that. Do you really think you should be the one to criticize? Well, first of all, if I drink alcohol, there's nothing wrong with drinking in moderation. There's nothing wrong with smoking a cigar that I know of. And a tattoo, I have one. I mean, what does that have to do with sex?
It's vice. Some of
It's a
these
vice.
smoking, or not the tattoo, but smoking could be considered a vice.
I certainly don't promote smoking cigars. I
Okay.
wouldn't say that, but no one ever said I was perfect.
No, you're not perfect. Here's a really
Go
good
on.
one from Edward. It says, if churches are going to promote great sex, then porn stars are saints.
He wishes. This is from Luann and Mickey Moore in Monroe, Georgia. Thank you, Julian. You go, Julian, for taking a stand regarding sex, and thank you to Fox for letting you do it.
One more thing here. This is on the Living Longer segment we were talking about the fact that 85 might be the new
65.
retirement age
Right.
over 65. It says, my plan is to live to age 140. Of course, if God has a different idea, I will not argue with him.
You know, the only thing I have to say, though, about the great sex, the church promoting the great sex, is that as a mother of 2 children, and we take our boys to Mass, I mean, we're Catholic, so our church is not, you know, talking a lot about that, but I would not want to sit there in church and have my sons listen to anything about sex.
No.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't really want my minister
No,
talking
I don't
about
want my
great
priest
sex.
talking to me about
I got sex education from my parents. Well, I should say my mother. When I was young. I mean,
That's
she was
good, really?
very open about it, you know.
That's wonderful,
and,
Julian.
yeah, I mean, I don't need that in
Nice.
church.
But 5,000 people who go to that church are
Seem to.
interested in it somehow.
I think chickens need sex education, don't you think?
Yes, particularly since they're breeding up a storm in Washington State. There was this town that was run amok with wild chickens.
Kennewick.
So
Washington.
here's what the neighbors did. Look at this guy. He's taking a fishing net to try to catch one of the chickens. Oh, I see kids are getting involved here as well.
They rounded them up.
Well, apparently what happened is, you know, this particular area in Washington, these chickens were making so much noise that people couldn't get, you know, a good night's sleep. And apparently, you know, the animal control people was out of their jurisdiction.
Right.
I was like,
Why?
Well, apparently it's out of their, I don't know.
Well, it's in a mobile home park in
Okay.
Kennewick. Actually, you're looking at my family home. That's my dad.
You grew up
He's
near
rounding up.
Kennewick.
I grew up near Kennewick. And the chickens were so out of control, animal control would not respond, so the citizens took matters into their own hands.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, there you go.
Well, I
good
mean,
fried
I'd
chicken
say
up
great.
there.
Good barbecue.
Back to the great
That's
sex
one way
in
to handle
church.
Something that Bob would do. Now, Bob is actually, you're from, whereabouts in Kentucky are you from, Bob?
Fort Thomas, Kentucky. It's
Okay.
northern Kentucky.
You had a whole lot of wild chickens around there?
Not a lot of wild chickens,
Oh, okay.
but I did want to get back to this whole thing you're talking about sex with. As Paige pointed out, my wife teaches sex education in high school. Anyway, Mary Kay, my wife, would say,
That is so not her name.
Jeez.
there's a lot of begatting in the Bible, Julian, you know?
Of course there is.
A lot of begatting, go ye forth and multiply and all that.
Go you for
Bob, do not misinterpret the scripture.
Bob,
Yes, sir.
Hey, Bob, let me ask you, though. You have daughters. Do you want to talk about, hear about great sex when you're with your girls in church on Sunday?
No, I
Yeah.
don't. And in fact, I was thinking of this earlier because you were talking about that sex education class at Yale University. Of course, a fine university, but it's like unless they're teaching them a trade, why are
they are.
teaching
Which
them
they
that?
may be.
How to strip.
Which they may be. Yeah, exactly. I mean, what's that got to do with education? It seems like, you know, you're learning that anyway.
I'll tell you what, if I was at Yale, which unfortunately I didn't get to go to Yale, my parents would have had a heart attack if we had sex week.
That's not
Heart attack.
$25,000 well spent.
We're paying for
a
this.
year for your tuition
Yeah.
to learn how to strip.
Well, see,
Yeah.
I don't say unfortunately not going to Yale. I went to Purdue, and I'm proud of my Big Ten school. And we didn't have any kind of sex education classes. I'm not going to tell you what we had during a...
Yeah.
Anyway.
You had hula classes because I saw you in that tease. That was really nice, Julian. And listen, I'm going on a fishing trip in a couple weeks. Thought maybe you'd want to go.
Well, can we do some hula in the rowboat?
That was a Brokeback Mountain joke.
Yeah.
Bob, that's next. We're doing the hula lessons next. Come on down.
Okay, Bob.
Hey, so
You will not see me doing that. I'd rather do Julian's karate thing.
Oh, let's not go there.
Oh, yeah, Julian's going to get all upset. We don't want to go
No,
there.
I'm not getting upset. But you do have news to do, don't you?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That is why
okay,
I'm
thank
here.
you.
I forgot.
Oh.
All right. Let's take a look.
Yes, indeed.
Thanks,
Quite
Dylan.
comfortable up here in Studio A. Aloha, folks. It's cold outside, but
That's
it's
right.
hot in here. One of Hawaii's most famous hula dancers is here to teach us some serious moves.
That's right. Nani Lim Yap came all the way from Hawaii because she heard that Julian loves to dance, and she brought along E.O. Burns to join us on the ukulele, and you're going to teach us how to hula.
But first, Paige, we need to adorn Julian, because Julian,
Can we get some
I
music,
think
please,
you
Leo?
need a good leg. There you go. He's going to put some lays on Julian.
Barbara,
He
you
needs
have
this.
no idea
Okay.
what I put up with these two women every weekend.
Okay, now Nani's going to give us some lessons. What is the first thing we need to do for a good hula?
You need to learn how to do the steps.
Okay.
Okay,
This
all
is
right.
a basic vamp. It's a Hawaiian vamp. We're going to take 2 steps to the right, tap, and back 2 steps to the left. 1, 2, 3, tap to the left, 2, 3, tap. And I saw Julian earlier moving those hips, and that's exactly right.
You gotta move the hips, girls.
3,
I don't think I have any rhythm.
right?
Okay, we have rhythm. Those ball bearings in those joints.
Now, Nani, you are a 3-time hula champ. You've won contests, so we're learning from the best.
You are fabulous. Did you grow up doing this? Is it true like little Hawaiian kids run around the beaches and
I grew up doing it.
Now, I thought you had to wear grass skirts and stuff.
and coconuts?
Well, now we've moved to the mu'umu, you know.
Oh, okay,
But
all
this
right.
is more of the modern type of mu'umu that
It's
we're
more of a
using.
family type.
Yes.
We see some moves here.
Give us some more. Now, what's another tricky move for us? Like something.
It's a point forward, and a point, and a point. That's called a hela, and a point. That's wonderful.
Now, we've
love
heard that
it.
every single move in a hula dance tells a story.
That's correct.
So give us some storytelling hand gestures. What do
Okay.
they mean?
There's vamp to the right and vamp to the left again. A huli means to turn was 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 is to turn.
You gotta keep your arms
Turn
up a lot
again.
here.
What
Yes.
story is this?
Okay, now it's of your eyes and your hands.
And what does that mean?
And kokino means your body. And we're going to take it all the way down.
But what are we what's the message?
He aloha means love
So this is like the original body
comes
language.
to me,
I
yes.
love it. Body language Hawaiian
I
style.
love it.
And so now you go move forward. Imua means forward, so we just move just a little forward. Again.
How come you
Forward
look so much
again.
better doing
You
this than
look
we do?
fabulous doing this. Now, are people still very interested in the hula?
Oh yes, especially in Asian countries like Japan. It is evidently they have the most hula schools, I think, than Hawaii. He aloha means my love has returned here.
I bet men love
To
this.
me.
Like come home from a hard day at work and
I
we're
like watching.
No, I think they like to watch.
I don't know about that.
That's what I mean. Like,
I like it. Now, if I
Yes,
were to get my
that's
behind.
exactly right.
my husband would die if I did this.
This is like Tai Chi.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
Nani,
what a-
Io,
okay.
thank you for adding some tropical flavor here
Oh, thank you for this leg.
to our winter day. Thank
I think
you.
it's great.
I'll get
Okay,
killed.
Where's Bill McCuddy?
later. Just